Alright, good evening from the House of Sport Simulation, Royal Arcade, Timaru. For those of you that woke up this morning and thought it was a little bit frosty, we've travelled to the other side of the world, racing this evening at Laguna Seca in California. In metric, it's 3.6 kilometres long. There's 55 metre rise and fall across the circuit, and of course it's got the famous corkscrew, one of the most challenging sections of road in the world on a racetrack. 18 metres of drop through the section, 11 corners in total, including the corkscrew, and we've also got the very tight Andretti hairpin. We've got the Group C touring cars there once again. Had a look at the records for Laguna Seca in its current format, which it's been competed on since 1996. There's nothing very comparable to the Group C touring cars. TA2 cars, which we do race in New Zealand, you'll be familiar with. The fastest time was set last year, that's a 1:26.8. Super Tourers have done 1:30s, 1:31s, and the TCR touring car record is a 1:30.4. Alfa Romeo. But in practice earlier on this evening, a lot of the competitors were doing 1:35s in their Group C V8 touring cars, so we'll see what we can do in qualifying. 10-minute qualifying session, so you're coming in about halfway through, just over 5 minutes left to go in the session. Fastest so far has been Braden Carroll just jumps to the top of the charts. Ben Cormack has been doing pretty well in qualifying, just sitting there in a comfortable P2 at the moment. So we'll have our 10-minute qualifying session, and then we'll have some 12-minute sprint races this evening. Just been quite tricky for them to get these big beasts around the circuit, particularly as they come off the corkscrew. A lot of them have been lighting up the rear bags. See if anyone can land their touring car on top of the car in front of them. If it all goes pear-shaped coming through the corkscrew, might be quite interesting. First lap or two while the field's bunched up. Braden Carroll there, using a little bit of the circuit and some more. Car 46. Braden had 3 wins last week when we're over in Darwin. Let's see how he does this evening over the other side of the world in Laguna Seca. Here we are coming through that famous corkscrew with the 18-metre elevation change. Then we head off down to the Wayne Rainey curve. That's turn 9. Just popping through turn 10, and then we head off down to the elbow, turn 11, which brings us on to the start-finish straight. The fastest second sector for Ben Cormack. Just goes to Mitch Hamilton now, 31.351. Here we go down the start-finish straight. Just has a kink in it there, turn 1. Then they head into the Andretti hairpin, which is turn 2. Moving through the infield part of the circuit, through turns 3 and 4. Then they make their way along to turns 5 and 6. Down the Rahal straight and then through the corkscrew. All getting all looped up there is Ben Cormack. Just going to throw that lap time away. We help him get his tyres into the right temperature window though. There's Blair Gabbardy's in the VK Commodore number 8. Provisionally 4th on a 1:37.2. As we've noted from earlier rounds in the Group C touring cars, it does take a few laps to get tyre temperatures up, particularly on the front tyres. We don't normally see the best qualifying times till the third quarter of our qualifying session. Mitch Hamilton in the John Sands number 18 Ford Falcon. 1:38.8. So Braden Carroll. What can he do? Didn't go any faster this time. Minute and a half left on the clock to make out the 6-car grid this evening. A little bit optimistic there on the turn in. Mitch Hamilton has managed to gather it up though. Blair Gabbardy's in the Kmart car. Will provisionally P4 1:37.2. Have we noted in the practice sessions after some time on the circuit the drivers did get into the 1:35s. Fastest first sector in Gormac. Can he take that provisional pole? 30 seconds left to run down on the clock. Through the corkscrew. Turns 8 and 8A. And through the rainy curve. There's 2 more corners to go before the start-finish line. 2 purple sectors for Ben Gormac. Go through the left-hander, turn 11 to the start-finish line. Are we going to get a fastest time? We certainly are. 1:35.7. We're waiting for the other competitors to finish their qualifying session. Blair Gabbardy's moves up to provisionally 3rd. The Kmart Commodore. Ray Cotton. And the famous Holden dealer team, Marlborough Commodore. So there we go. Gormac, Carroll on the front row, then Gabbardy's, Hamilton, Cotton and Little. 12 minutes sprint race. First up this evening, Laguna Seca, California. Lovely sunny day, so you can forget the frost. All red lights. And we're away. It does take these competitors a little while to launch them off the line. We'll just see Mitch Hamilton trying to use about 11/10 of the circuit, but he gets underway. He's in 3rd place off the line as they go into the Handretti hairpin. Just takes the inside line. Gormac and Gabbardy's up front. Gabbardy's just noses the Kmart Commodore into the lead. Gormac pulls in behind. Then Hamilton, Carroll, Cotton and Little at the back of the field in the other XE Falcon. So all over the tail is Braden Carroll on the back of Mitch Hamilton's Commodore. They're back with the leaders, Gabbardy's and Gormac. Now they're just heading through turn 5 up to turn 6 as they climb the hill. And through the left-hander into turn 6. We've got going along the Rahal straight. Then we'll be waiting for all the action as the field tries to barrel through the corkscrew. Turns 8 and 8A. Unsighted apex. Good line there from Blair Gabbardy's. He gets through nicely. Gormac, Hamilton. Carroll's all over the back of the Hamilton Falcon. They head off down to turns 10 and 11. Carroll just trying to find his way around Mitch Hamilton. Takes the inside line. They barrel off the start-finish straight. Gets the pass made. First lap honours will go to Blair Gabbardy's in the Kmart Commodore. And Ben Gormac in the Roadways machine. Carroll, Hamilton, Cotton, Little. A little bit of a nudge there. Rubbins Racing. Okay, Gormac just trying to hang around the inside. Takes the pass. They get ready to climb the hill once again. 2/10 of a second in it. So looking at the back of the Roadways Commodore, we can see Gabbities and Carroll in pursuit. Looking back to Hamilton and the Falcon, then Cotton. Chris Little's just out of shot in the other XE Falcon. Through the corkscrew we go. There you go. That gives you a good shot of the elevation change. The 18-metre drop through that section of the circuit as Carroll just tries to hang around the inside of Gabbities. Makes the pass. Gabbities going to have the inside line though for the right-hander. While these two are fighting, it's allowing Gormack just to ease away a little. Over the start-finish straight he goes once again. Gormack's going to lead lap 2. The battle continues between Gabbities and Carroll. The braking zone for the Andretti hairpin. Carroll maintains the position. This could be an opportunity for Hamilton just to stick onto the back of these two as they slow each other up while they're battling away. Gormack holding a lead, around 1 second. Through turn 5. Carroll's taking the pressure off himself a little bit. Got a couple of car lengths over the Kmart Gabbities Commodore. Up the hill they go. Into the corkscrew. Just a nip of the right front there from the Carroll car. Keeps it in a straight line. Gormack not being able to move away from these two. And Carroll shut down that lead. Another lap completed. 7 minutes left on the clock. The field bunched up now down the start finish straight into the Andretti hairpin they go. A little bit understeering on turn in the Ben Gormack Roadways Commodore. It's a good exit. So fastest lap from Ben Gormack's a 1:35.7, 1:36.1 for Carroll. Now lead out to 2.5. Over 6 minutes on the clock. Gabbities third, Hamilton, Cotton, Little. Down the corkscrew into that unsighted apex. There's the Roadway Commodore. Turn 10 is the pit entry, which we don't need to use this evening. Through the last corner, turn 11. Gormack will lead them over the start finish straight once again. Another 3 laps. We'll be looking to finish the race. Fastest lap, 1:35.9. Ben Gormack holding that lead, 2nd to 2.5 over the Carroll Commodore. Hamilton's got the big Falcon up to P3. Push Gabbities back, 4th. And we can see Cotton the shot now in the 05 car. And Gabbity's get that position back. Mitchell using all of the circuit and a little bit more in the John Sands Cards Falcon. Up the hill they climb once again, heading to the corkscrew. Would run into the section from Gabbity's. So meanwhile up front, Carroll's closed the gap to Gormack to under a second. And a little bit of the curb on the exit of turn 11 as he heads down the main straight. Ben Gormack. Oh, fastest lap, Braden Carroll allowing him to close the gap. Oh, Gormack gets a little bit loose. Loses some car speed. Gives Carroll another couple of tenths. Through the infield part of the circuit. Ben Gormack, Braden Carroll. 3 minutes left on the clock to run down. Five tenths of it. Braden Carroll, 3 wins last week. Carrying form into week's round. Through the corkscrew. Half a second in it. Gormack having a look in his mirrors. Carroll's letting him know he's there. All the road. Two minutes as they cross the line. 2 laps left to go. 4 race leader. Ben Gormack, another fastest lap. Braden Carroll in the chase. 37.3. Oh, Ben Gormack throws it away. Lets Braden Carroll through. Luckily, they had a good lead over the third place car of Blair Gabbity's. Should be able to hold on to P2. There is the race leader, Braden Carroll. R46, South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Needs to bring it home from here. Heads up the hill to the corkscrew. The second to last time in race 1 this evening. Nice entry and exit. Smoothly on the throttle. To the rainy curve he goes. Now we can see Ben Gormack in the Roadways car. What could have been? Gabbity's in the Kmart machine. Mitch Hamilton was in the podium positions earlier in this race. Braden Carroll starts the last lap in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Gormack goes through, as does Gabbity's. The Andretti hairpin for the last time in race 1. Oh, still gets a little bit loose off the curb. Needs to watch the throttle application. 308 cubic inches of the General's best. There is the race leader. Braden Carroll, 2/3 of a lap left to go. We have to do a Brocky at this point. Arm out the window, raving to the crowd. Up to the corkscrew, into the unsighted apex he goes. Bit of a nip on the right front as it gets unweighted. Down through the corkscrew into the rainy curve. Ben Gormac's done his best. He's pulled a second out of Carroll's lead. Going to be Braden Carroll through the final turn 11 over the start finish straight. He's going to take race 1 this evening. There's Gormac in the Roadways car. He's going to go through for second. Just waiting for Gabbardy's VK Commodore. There's our podium positions. And Mitch Hamilton's had a little bit of a moment. He's dropped back. Goes through for fourth. Ray Cotton. That'll round out the field. Obviously not worried about saving that engine for race 2, Braden Carroll. You've got to get out of it. Keep it lighting up the tyres and stand on the roof and wave at the crowd. That's the... And pick up your trophy. Alright, so reverse of race 1. Another 12-minute sprint. Little and Cotton off the front row. Then Hamilton, Gabbardy's, Gormac and Carroll. Waiting for the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who hooks it up off the line and heads off down the road. Oh, good starts from Gabbardy's and Gormac off the back of the track. They get hooked up and away. Carroll takes a nice safe start, stays out of trouble. Form driver in the touring cars. Bill Little's got his nose in front, but he's just trying to sit on the outside. Gormac into the lead in the Roadways Commodore. Then Little, Gabbardy's back to second. Hamilton pulls through to P3 in the Falcon. All sitting near the back of the field while all this action's going on. Up the hill they head to turn 5. Then into the corkscrew. They drop back down the circuit. Did 55 metres elevation change around the 3.6 kilometre circuit. Opened in 1957. Gormac, Gabbardy's, Hamilton. Cotton's got the 05 car into 4th. Carroll now pulls through to 4th. The South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Cotton has a wee look around the outside. Doesn't pull off the pass. Carroll takes the position safely. So lap 1 will be led by the Roadways Commodore of Ben Gormac. Gabbardy's goes through, sitting in second in the Kmart car. Mitch Hamilton's got the Falcon up to third. Is Carroll trying to chase down the leaders. Into the Andretti hairpin he goes. A little bit right in the tail on the turn in. Mitch Hamilton. Carroll having a look left and right around the big Falcon. Mitch Hamilton getting a little bit loose there off the curve. Holding P3 at this point in the race. The Gormac, he's pulling out a little bit of a lead now, 2.6 seconds over Gabbardy's. Nose to tail. Gabbardy's, Hamilton and Carroll. Carroll getting a little bit loose there. Alpha car length or two. They head up to the corkscrew, turns 8 and 8A. Lindy goes through Gormac, Gabbardy's, Hamilton. Back to Cotton as they drop down the hill. Sitting on the inside of the big Falcon. over his tail. White on rice. Okay, through turn 11. Mitch Hamilton gets loose, goes out wide and allows Carroll through. So Gormac, Gabbity's Carroll, podium positions provisionally. Into the Andretti hairpin they go. Tyres will be coming into the operational window now, into the right temperature range. Start throwing these big beasts around. Practice this evening, Gormac was trying to drift his car. Just get used to it. Tyres have gone off. So far so good, 2.3 seconds up the road from Blair Gabbity's. There is P2 in the VK Commodore. Carroll chasing him down. Okay, on the brakes, into the corkscrew. Oh, Blair Gabbity's gets out of shape. Carroll through, and Hamilton. Shows you what can happen. Late change of the car as it drops down the hill. So Carroll now, P2, he's 4.5 seconds. Up the road is Ben Gormac in the Roadways Commodore. So Gormac's best this race is a 1:35.7. 1:36.2 the best for Gabbity's. Carroll's done a 1:35.7. Well, into the Andretti hairpin. P2, Braden Carroll in the 46. South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. And race 1. Gormac cooked it. And Gormac hold on to his lead. 4.2 seconds, so he's got plenty in the kitty. 6 minutes to go in the sprint race number 2. Here's Gabbity's. P2 now chasing down Hamilton for 3rd. Up the hill they go. A little bit of a nudge. These locks a brake. Under control on this pass through the corkscrew. Gormac's going through turn 10. Rest are coming out of turn 9. The Cotton there in the background. The 05 Commodore. Fastest lap, race leader Ben Gormac. 20 degrees, it looks a lot warmer than 20 degrees. Better than the -4 we had here this morning. Here Gabbity's passing Mitch Hamilton. Wants that P3. Right into turn 5. Six, and they climb the hill. Wee kink going into the corkscrew. It's turn 7. 8 and 8A. Gabbity's harassing Mitch Hamilton. Off the turn they go. Carroll up the road. Less than 4 minutes to count down on the clock for race 2. Here's Carroll, Hamilton, Gabatis. Sticks his nose down the inside at the hairpin, not quite. Hamilton being a lot more careful on the throttle off the curve so as to not throw the Falcon away. Turn 3. Nice smooth line from both competitors off the curve. Okay, in the braking zone. Turn 4. Drive off the corner from Mitch Hamilton in the Falcon. Gabatis gets very loose, has to take his foot out of it to get it all gathered up. It takes the pressure off Mitch Hamilton. Gabatis has to do it all again. Comfortable lead, Ben Gormack. Bit of oversteer into the curve there out of Mitch Hamilton's big Falcon. They're all getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 11 onto the start-finish straight. Just see his quarry disappearing out of shot. That's Ben Gormack in the Roadways car. Line there from Braden Carroll. Andretti hairpin to the infield part of the circuit through turns 3 and 4. Cormac now got the lead out to over 6 seconds. Be potentially the first win of the evening for the Roadways Commodore. So this pans out. Turn 6 onto the Rahal straight. Into the corkscrew. One at 35.7 best lap. Last lap 1:37.0 for the race leader. Okay, through turn 11. 1 lap to go till glory. What Ben Gormack, number 6, Roadways Commodore. Comfortable lead of 6 seconds for Braden Carroll. Okay, on board with the race leader. To the Andretti hairpin he goes. The infield part of the circuit through turns 3 and 4. The gear. The Firestone Bridge through turn 4. Okay, next braking zone into turn 5. Down a gear. A little bit of the circuit and more. Turn 6. Along the Rahal straight. This should give you good view coming down through the corkscrew. Here the engine get light down the hill. 18 metre elevation drop there. We turn 10 and corner to go for race leader Ben Gormack in the Roadways Commodore. Going to take checkered flag in race 2 this evening. Oh, there's Braden Carroll. He's going to take P2. South Canterbury Tyres Commodore. Very happy Mitch Hamilton. The John Sands Cards Falcon. Goes through for P3. Cotton's going to make it fourth in the Marlborough Holden Dealer Team Commodore. Then Gabbaty's in the Kmart car, was in the podium positions at the beginning of the race. Threw it away, coming down through the corkscrew. Chris Little in the big XE Falcon. Yeah, just give him a nudge, a wee bit of a love tap. Oh, race 1 to Braden Carroll, race 2 to Ben Gormack. To take honours for the second part of the evening. Must have a good tyre sponsor. So we'll have a short break and then we'll be back with qualifying session 2. The lead into races 3 and 4. Alrighty, so a second qualifying session of the evening coming to you from Laguna Seca, California, where they don't have a frost today. So, race 1 went to Braden Carroll, race 2 to Ben Cormack. Now into our second 10-minute qualifying session in the lead up to our third and fourth sprint races, which will be 12 minutes duration once again. Just looking at Chris Little with Ray Cotton just going through on the inside in the 05 Multipro Holden dealer team Commodore. So there's Mitch Hamilton. He's just had a third place in the John Sands Cards Falcon. Gets out into the scenery a little bit, does Mitch Hamilton. You can just see Gabbity's going through in the Kmart number 8 Holden Commodore. Okay, over the start finish line to start the clock for the first of their qualifying laps in the session. Looking for the 135, 136 mark. We'll take a few laps to get the tyres into the operating window. The car's up to speed. Looking at the number 18 car of Mitch Hamilton. Comes off a third place in race 2. Braden Carroll is the series points leader going into tonight's rounds. 10 rounds for the Group C touring cars. They do get to drop their 3 worst rounds, so need to turn up at least 7 times to get enough points to count towards the championship for 2027. So what's Braden's time going to be? The Commodore 36.5, that's not bad first up. Got a the Gabbity's goes through in the Kmart car. There is Ben Gormack, winner of race 2 in the Roadways Commodore. 136.9. Provisionally qualifying in P2. The first half of our 10-minute qualifying session. Can he go any better? The Chris Little in the Falcon. 141.0. Chris Little lets Ben through. He's on a flying lap. Very courteous. Climbs the hill along the Rahal Straight. And braking into the corkscrew. Through the rainy curve. 2 corners left to go. See what this qualifying lap has in store for young Ben Gormack. The Chris Little there in the back of the shot out in the scenery. And just to get it back on the asphalt. So this time round, Ben Gormack 3/10 faster, 1:36.5. Braden Carroll 1:36.50. The top of the qualifying charts, on board with Braden Carroll in the Timaru Tyre Centre Commodore. Up the Rahal Straight, then into turns 7, 8 and 8A, down through the corkscrew into the rainy curve, feeds the power in slowly. Okay, through the kink, turn 10, and off down to the elbow at turn 11. On board Blair Gabbities in the Kmart car. Does he go any faster? Was provisionally third on the grid. Does go quicker but doesn't take P2. 1:37.0 from the Kmart Commodore. Here's Ben Gormack in the Roadways car. He take provisional pole. Not this time. The Cotton in the 05 Commodore and 39.1. This is 1:38.8. Under the Firestone Bridge. Ben Gormack, car 8. Okay, into turn 5. Short straight into turn 6. Got to get a good exit, maintain that momentum all the way up the Rahal Straight and pick your apex into the corkscrew. Comes off the curves cleanly through rainy. So Carroll doesn't go any faster, it's still a 1:36.50. Gabbities goes through, he doesn't go any quicker. Looking at Ben Gormack and the Roadways Commodore. Less than a minute and a half left to go on the qualifying clock. Fastest third sector, still provisionally second. Braden Carroll, Tyre Centre Commodore. He shave off another tenth or two. Up the Rahal Straight into the corkscrew. Nips the right front wheel as unloads. Drops down the hill. Through rainy. Into turn left. Then off to 11 into the elbow. Hasn't had any purple sectors. Does go 3/10 quicker though, 1:36.2. Good third sector from Braden Carroll. Hamilton still provisionally P4. Ben Gormack goes across the line. 36.255, so he's faster, but still provisionally P2. There's Ray Cotton, the Mowbray Holden dealer car. Maintains E5 on the grid. Then Little goes through, just watching the XE Falcon. That's going to be the end of the qualifying session. Carroll and Gormack. The front row, Gabbity's Cotton, Hamilton, Little. As we've noted, quite tricky to get these big beasts off the line. Let's see if Hamilton can keep it out of the wall at the race start. 3 reds. And we're away in race 3. Looks like they've all hooked up off the line. Carroll's going to lead them away down to the Andretti hairpin. Gormack just trying to go through on the inside of Blair Gabbity's. Takes the position. So we've got Commodores 1, 2, 3. Carroll, Gormack, Gabbity's. They head through the infield part of the circuit. Then it's back to Hamilton, Cotton and Little. Hamilton all over the back of the Gabbity's Kmart Commodore. The Gormack, he's half a second up the road from this battle. He'll be trying to hang on to the back of Braden Carroll. 1 win apiece this evening. Who's going to have bragging rights at the end of the evening? Oh, a little bit loose there. Ben Gormack gives a little too much jandle as he climbs the hill. It allows Gabbity's to go through on momentum. Gets the nose in front, going down through the corkscrew. Gabbity's was running in the top 3 earlier this evening. Then threw it away going through the corkscrew himself. So Carroll now got his lead out to nearly 2 seconds before the end of the first lap. It's all business. Gabbity's, Gormack, Hamilton, Cotton, nose to tail across the start finish line for the first time in race 3. Into the Andretti hairpin. See a tight line there for Ben Gormack in the Roadways car. Through the infield part of the circuit under the Firestone Bridge they go. Looking ahead, race leader, the high centre Commodore. Into turn 5 he goes. Making their way up to turn 6. Oh, very loose there for Ben Gormack. Gabbity's also going wide. That gets a better run off the corner. Slowly hauling them in as they climb the hill. What's he going to do? Gabbity's comes off the inside of the corner. Down through the gears. Down through the corkscrew. Into the rainy curve. Tight line for Ben Gormack and the Commodore. Does the old switcheroo, gets the inside line into turn 10. Oh, a bit too much jandle off the curve. But it gets through. Gormack takes the position into P2 before he gets over the start finish line for the end of lap 2. Then Gabbity's, Hamilton, Cotton, Little. Third through 6th. So Gormack, 2.7 seconds in arrears of race leader Braden Carroll. Just see him disappearing out of shot. And Gormack and down the race leader. And Carroll make it 2 out of 3 through the infield part of the circuit. Nice smooth lines from Ben Gormack and the Roadways Commodore. Mitch Hamilton also there. Mitch gets a good clean run off the corner. Okay, off through turn 6, up the hill through the Rahal Straight. Gingerly on the brakes. Watch for the blind apex. Oh, Gabbities gets a little bit out of shape. Gathers it back up, but that's going to give Hamilton a couple of tenths. Down through turn 10. Goes the field. And into the elbow. Carroll, Gormack, Gabbities, Hamilton. Battle we're watching for third. Start finish straight they go at the end of lap 3. And they head off into turn 1, the Andretti hairpin once again. Hayden Carroll got over 2 seconds lead from Ben Gormack. On board with Hamilton though. He's all over the back of the Blair Gabbities Kmart car, under the Firestone Bridge once again. Into turn 4. In the kink, down to turn 5. Then you get a good run off this corner and head up the hill. Gabbities just eases away a little. Early lift and turn in from Hamilton. They've got a good drive off turn 6 to climb the hill. And into the braking zone for the corkscrew once again. Oh, just going off the inside of the circuit there, Mitch Hamilton. Manages to hold on to it though. Still on the back of the Gabbities Kmart Commodore. Here we go through the turn 10, then into the elbow, turn 11. Closes up under braking, a little bit of understeer, oversteer on the exit. That just allows Gabbities to ease the Kmart Commodore away a car length or two. They drive along the start finish straight. Here we go, Ben Gormack. He's got the lead to Carroll under 2 seconds now. Halfway through the race. Race 3 this evening from Laguna Seca. Through the infield goes the Roadways Commodore. To turn 4. One and a half seconds now. Gormack is on the hunt. Good run out of turn 6. Send him up the hill. Hamilton's dropped back 4.5 seconds. Gabbities is back to P4. Cotton, Little. Through the rainy curve. To our leaders. It's Hamilton and John Sands Falcon. And a piece for these two this evening. Braden Carroll is the series leader coming into the 4th round at Laguna Seca. As I mentioned, they do get to drop 3 rounds over the 10 round series. A long way to go. The braking zone, the Andretti hairpin. Good run off the curve. The Roadways Commodore. Keeping Carroll's lead under 2 seconds. Got over 3 minutes on the clock. So Blair Gabbities, issue, he's in the pits. In the Kmart Commodore, so that takes him out of the running for race 3. Up the hill goes Ben Gormack. in pursuit of Braden Carroll. The South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Good run off the curve, both competitors out of Rainey. Good turn in the Roadways car. Okay, off the elbow, turn 11. Start finish straight once again. Second and a half, so he's taken 2/10 out of Braden Carroll on that lap. Fastest lap, Ben Gormack. That's how he's doing it. Second half of the race. Through Andretti. Race face on. Have to see him in his mirrors. Go through the part of the circuit. We go looking at the rear window of the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. I'm out of turn 5. Go turn 6 up the hill on the Rahal straight. Them drop down through the corkscrew. Significant elegant change as you can see there. 18.5 metre drop through the corkscrew, through the Rainy curve. Carroll's managed to take those 2/10 back out of Ben Gormack. Be one lap to go. Here we go through turn 11, the elbow onto the start finish straight. Ben Gormack do anything about Braden Carroll's lead in the last lap of race 3. Hairpin. Mighty entry in Braden Carroll in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore, number 46. Carroll's taken a couple of tenths back on the charge on the final lap. Turns 3 and 4. Okay, into 5. Get a good run out of the corner. Climb up the hill into turn 6. Get a good exit. Very wide exit there from Braden Carroll. South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Gormack's now got the lead down to less than a second. Corners left to go, down through the corkscrew into Rainey. The power on, coming out of the Rainey curve into the number 10, into the sweeper. One corner left to go. Looks like it will be Braden Carroll once again. Through turn 11, into the elbow he goes. Up to the start finish line. So 2 wins out of 3 for Braden Carroll in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Ben Gormack goes through 7/10 of a seconds down the road at the end of the race. Now we're looking at Mitch Hamilton in the John Sands number 18 Falcon. He's going to be last on the podium, a P3. Ray Cotton will go through in the Holbrook Holden Dealer Team Commodore. There's Chris Little in the King George Tavern Falcon. Of course, Blair Gabbity's, he had a DNF from an off-track excursion, trying to cut the corner going through the corkscrew. So, race 4, Little and Cotton on the front, then Hamilton, Gormack, Carroll and Gabbity's be at the back of the field. 3 lights, then 4. Let's get these big beasts launched off the line. Everyone gets a good start. Gabbity's just goes to the outside to go round Gormack's Roadways Commodore. They head off down to the Andretti hairpin for the first time in race 4 this evening. Into the braking zone they go. Bit of nudge, a bit of a knock. Oh, Little gives Carroll a bit of a bump coming back onto the circuit. It's Carroll that's going to have the 46 car in front. Little gets out of it again, takes out Cotton. Into the wall go both competitors. I think our driving standards adjudicator might have a little look at that later on. Meanwhile, Hamilton, he's P2. Gormack in the roadways car, P3, then Gabbardies. All following up Braden Carroll in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Up the hill they go, out of turn 6, into the corkscrew. A little bit of the circuit, we've seen a couple of cars throw it away coming through here. The cars get unweighted. Those 4 get through this time cleanly. Okay, into turn 11 and head off down to the elbow. Here they go for the end of lap 1 in race 4. Carroll's going to lead them across the line. Then Hamilton, Gormack, Gabbardies, Andretti hairpin, Hamilton. A little bit of the inside scenery. Holds on to it though, does Mitch Hamilton and the number 18 John Sands Ford Falcon. And we get a Ford win for the first time this evening. See what Mitch Hamilton can do. Max trying to take that position though. Look left and right. Head off the hill. Big 5.8 Falcon should have the grunt. Gormack, it's a bit of get off the curve. Oh, loops it up, does he? No, holds on to it, but he loses drive going up the hill. Now Gabbardies tries to get through. Gormack pushes him off the circuit. Holds that position. Driving standards adjudicator watching intently. Oh, Gabbardies loops it up. Coming off the corkscrew. It takes the pressure off Hamilton and Gormack. Eyes ahead now for these two. While they're battling, of course, Braden Carroll's able to eke out his lead. South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Across the start-finish line he goes. Followed by Hamilton, who's got a mirror full of Ben Gormack in the roadways car. Okay, into the braking zone for the Andretti curve. Gormack's not going to be able to go around the outside. Long way round. Up to turn 3 they go through the infield part of the circuit. Gormack's on the inside. Hamilton shuts the door though. Under the Firestone bridge they go. Through turn 4. Hamilton getting a little bit loose off the curve. That'll lose his drive. That allows Gormack through. And Hamilton hang with him. A good run off turn 5. Takes the position back. Little bit of nudge. Then up the hill they climb. Mac just having a little bit of a look down the inside as they go into the braking zone. Not far enough ahead. Oh, gets a little bit loose. Manages to gather it up though, does Ben Gormack. Gives Hamilton a couple of car lengths relief. Off to turn 10. The sweeper. They'll head off to the elbow, turn 11 before they go down the start-finish straight once again. They'll cross over there, Ben Gormack. Pull it off this occasion. Gets a good run though. Hamilton lets him through. Hamilton has to have a stab at the brakes there. A little bit of balking from Gormack. 9/10 of a second. Might have been a smart move. But eyes forward. Meanwhile, Braden Carroll, he's been able to gap these two 8 seconds while they've been racing each other. Out of turn 5. Race leader, Braden Carroll. The corkscrew. The fastest lap, 1:35.5. Last time round, 1:35.7. So Braden Carroll's on it. With the rainy curve. To the elbow, not under pressure. Braden Carroll. Just needs to keep his rhythm and get it home from here. At least half the race to complete. Air temperature up to 28 degrees now. Nice sunny day at Laguna Seca. Into the Andretti hairpin is Ben Gormack. Seconds further back. That battle with Mitch Hamilton cost him. Gabbity's still running in 4th, then Cotton in Little. Oh, we look at Ben Gormack. P2 in the number 8 Roadways car. Turn 6. Smooth run off the curve, carries that speed up the Rahal straight. Down through the corkscrew once again. Race leader is off to turn 10 as Gormack comes out of the rainy curve. Mitch Hamilton down P3, the number 18 John Sands Falcon. The 4 minutes left to go in race 4. Rose now got that lead. Seconds. Gormack not making inroads. King George Tavern Falcon. Locks up the rears of the corkscrew. Keeps it under control through the Wayne Rainey curve. There's Ray Cotton, 05. Most famous Group C touring car of them all. Very successful, of course. Larry Perkins and Peter Brock. Bathurst wins to their name. And the VK Commodore. Their Gabbity's circulating in 4th. 5 seconds down the road from Mitch Hamilton. Been in the podium positions but hasn't been able to make it stick tonight. Grabbing at that right front as he gets unloaded going into the corkscrew. There is P3 man, Mitch Hamilton, the John Sands Cards, number 18 Falcon. Goes over the start-finish line once again. Makes his way down to the Andretti hairpin. There we go, Ben Gormack just coming off the hairpin. Roadways Commodore. Looks like he's on for a solid P2. Race leader there, Braden Carroll, just disappearing out of shot in the South Canterbury tyre centre. Holden Commodore. Out of turn 6, up the Rahal straight to the... Going to have one lap to go. Start finish stripe. Out of the rainy curve. Exiting the curve, we can see Ben Gormack in the Roadways car coming in. Okay, race leader, Braden Carroll, about to start the final lap. Round 4 from Laguna Seca. Off to the Andretti hairpin he goes. Maintaining an 8-second lead. Mac Roadways Commodore. Will make it 3 from 4. Another good haul of points for Braden Carroll. Needs to nurse it home from here. Arm out the window, rave to the crowd. Probably still got the cigarette lighter in it so he can light himself up a dart. Off turn 5. Climbs up the hill to turn 6. Good run out of here. Up the Rahal straight. 8-second lead. Gormack in the Roadways car. Into the corkscrew for the last time. Makes it look easy, does the race leader. Now through the rainy curve. 2 corners left to go. Sweeper at 10, then into the elbow at 11. Hearing every creak and groan. In the rev counter, the temperature and the oil pressure, but he's going to take it to the line. Make it 3 out of 4. Braden Carroll, South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. Ben Gormack's going to go through for a comfortable second at the end. Fastest lap on the last lap is Mitch Hamilton. He's going to get the John Sandscards Falcon onto the podium again this evening. Gabbities goes through in the Kmart Commodore. Cotton in the 05 Cobra Holder dealer team car. Chris Little will round out the field. There we go. 4 sprint races from Laguna Seca, California. Tune in next week when you'll see the carnage happen all over again. It's a